Good evening. You're watching the news at 6 with me, Shan Russell. The news at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling you in them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. A united opposition protest in the Lok Sabha over 3-day extension of the ongoing session. House not taken into confidence in the move, alleges Congress. Proceedings in the Rajya Sabha also disrupted as Congress demands Union Minister Nitin Gadkari's resignation on indictment by a CAG report. Actor Salman Khan stays out of jail for now. Khan's 5-year sentence in the 2002 hit-and-run case has been suspended by the Bombay High Court. David Cameron all set for another stint as Prime Minister. Against all expectations, Conservatives pull off a clear majority in the British Parliament. And Taliban claims responsibility for the chopper crash in Pakistan that killed 2 foreign diplomats and 4 others. The terror outfit says their original target was Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Well, our top story this evening, the Lok Sabha was adjourned twice today as the joint opposition took on the government for its decision to extend the session by 3 days. The cabinet had decided to prolong the ongoing session yesterday to push more bills in the lower house. However, the opposition refused to buy the government's reason to extend it.
The Lok Sabha witnessed a ruckus on Friday over the extension of the ongoing session till May 13th, leading to repeated adjournments of the House. Leader of the Congress in the Lok Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, demanded suspension of the questionnaire, alleging the government was extending the session without taking the House into confidence.
Under Rule 389, you have got a residual power to suspend the question hour and listen to us because
नहीं है आजकल नहीं है
389 you have power to suspend. Madam, no. I have got 1 minute. Madam, 3 days your government is going to extend without taking the House into confidence.
It's not about suspension of question hour.
No, not suspension 388.
Though Speaker Sumitra Mahajan rejected the request, she allowed members to take it up during 0 hour.
No, अभी ऐसा नहीं होता. After question hour बात सुनी जाएगी. No, please, I am requesting. Please, महत्वपूर्ण विषय है. After question hour, I will listen to it, but not now.
But a relentless opposition continued with protests, leading to adjournments. 0 hour also could not be taken up amid the din. However, the government rejected the criticism by the opposition. It said that the decision follows similar precedents, but it acknowledged that leaders of some parties could not be informed on Thursday as the Rajya Sabha worked till late and many ministers, including Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu, were busy. With inputs from Shyam Sundar, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
On to the Rajya Sabha, which as well witnessed repeated adjournments today as opposition demanded resignation of Union Minister Nitin Gadkari for alleged irregularities based on a CAG report. The government slammed the criticism but expressed a willingness to discuss the issue of corruption in the House. After day-long protests from the opposition, the House was finally adjourned till Monday. Congress MP Shantaram Nayak pointed out in the upper house on Friday that the CAG had flagged non-compliance by Purti Sakhar Karkhana Limited of conditions for interest subsidy extended by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. He said that a minister in the current government was once a board member in the company, as Congress members upped the ante against the government over the issue. Our correspondent Vishal Daya has been tracking all these developments that have been happening in the Rajya Sabha, and he joins us live. Vishal, the opposition has found at least one chink in the armor of the government as far as the minister is concerned, and the ghost of Purti coming back to haunt Nitin Gadkari again.
Well, yes, that's what the opposition says as of now, Ishan, and it seems the opposition is not going to let go of this handle so easily. We saw there were at least half a dozen adjournments in the upper house today, and finally the chair was left with no option but to adjourn the house till Monday morning at 11 a.m. And the reason why this entire episode has played out on the floor of the house is because the opposition, specifically the Congress, says that there is a CAG report which names Union Minister Nitin Gadkari. His name is attached with that, with those remarks which are there in the CAG report regarding the Purti group of companies and how a loan was obtained by giving a false representation, and then the loan was not paid back. There was an NPA, and then there was a one-time settlement which was done by the Purti group of companies. Now, the Congress's argument, which we heard both inside the House and later on outside the House as well, the Congress spokesperson clearly pointed out that the present government, which was in opposition almost a year back, cannot cite the rules which are being cited right now, that the CAG report has to be first examined by the PAC, and then the House can go ahead and discuss this matter. What the opposition, specifically the Congress, is pointing out is that in 2010, when there was adverse remarks in the CAG reports on the issue of spectrum allocation as well as coal allocation, and then the CWG games, how the infrastructure was handled. At that point in time, the BJP, which was in opposition then, had demanded the resignation of A. Rajya, the then telecom minister, and had only settled for his resignation and let the House function after that only. So these are the arguments which are being given by the opposition, but the government is clarifying that there has been no corruption involved in this particular case, and there are set rules, there are procedures which should be followed as far as CAG report is concerned.
All right, Vishal, very quickly also, if you can tell us, as far as the opposition strategy, I mean, the coming week is the last week for this present session of Parliament. There are a couple of days that the Parliament would be functioning. What's the opposition strategy? Would they allow the House to function?
Well, the Congress has not said it in so many words that they will not allow the House to function, but then they have not left many things unsaid. Clearly, what their spokesperson is saying outside and what the leader said inside is an indication that they will not settle for anything less than the resignation of Union Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari. But then, as I am again saying that this is something which has been their stand for the entire day today. We will have to wait and watch as to what exactly happens over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, because the government also has made its stand very clear, and the last 3 days of the session are going to be really crucial, specifically as far as the upper house is concerned, because the government plans to bring the constitutional amendment bill related to GST in the upper house on Monday, and that is something which is a really crucial piece of legislation which the government would want to go ahead and get it cleared. So there might be some back channel discussion between the government and opposition which might happen over the course of weekend. But then, as of now, given the stand both sides have taken, it seems highly unlikely that we will see a smooth functioning early next week also.
All right, Vishal, thanks very much for that update for now. Now, a day after 4 women athletes attempted to commit suicide in Kerala, there were demands in the upper house to dismiss the Director General of the Sports Authority of India. Opposition members also demanded an immediate probe into the case in which one of the athletes died. The government assured the House of strict action against those found guilty.
Congress MP Pramod Tiwari tendered a notice under Rule 267 for suspension of business to discuss the alleged suicide attempt by 4 young female athletes at the Sports Authority of India Centre in Kerala. He said that the incident reflects nepotism and corruption in Sports Authority of India. The party demanded a thorough probe into the incident that has left 1 athlete dead and 3 others fighting for their lives.
ये भारतीय खेल मंत्रालय की दुर्दशा की वजह से 4 लड़कियों ने आत्महत्या करने का प्रयास किया। एक अपर्णा मर गई और 3 वेंटिलेटर पे रखे हुए हैं। ये खेल मंत्रालय में जो भाई भतीजावाद, भ्रष्टाचार, अपने लोगों को आगे बढ़ाना, इसके कारण ये हो रहा है।
उनको न सही खाना मिलता, न उनको एक्सरसाइज की सुविधा, तो सही पे जो है निश्चित रूप से जांच बिठानी चाहिए और वहाँ के सारे कोई कमीशन बिठा के इंक्वायरी कमीशन लगाना चाहिए। स्पोर्ट अथॉरिटी इंडिया सब और डायरेक्टर जनरल को हटाना चाहिए।
So it's a very serious issue. Government of India must inquire with all seriousness and assure the country, assure Kerala, assure the sports people that they will take very, very strong actions whatever happened there.
Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian rejected the notice for suspension of business to discuss the matter. However, he admitted the seriousness of the issue and urged the government to come back with a statement.
I don't know what is the reason. And out, please, out of the 4, 1 died. It happened in Kerala, Alapi. And condition of 2 are very critical. See, one girl or one person committing suicide is sometimes happens. 4 together. That means there is something very serious. Very serious. Therefore, even though I am not allowing the 267, I am ruling out the 267 notice, I am ruling out that. However, I observe that this matter is very important. I want the government to come back with a inquiry, come back with a statement. After the statement comes, we may even further discuss on that.
Addressing the concern of the members, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi assured action by the government.
माननीय सदस्यों ने जो मुद्दा उठाया है निश्चित तौर से वो गंभीर है और उनकी भावनाओं से हम अपने को संबद्ध करते हैं। खेल मंत्रालय को और खेल मंत्री महोदय को हम इस पूरे के पूरे प्रकरण की जानकारी और जो माननीय सदस्यों की भावना है उसकी जानकारी देंगे और इस संबंध में जो भी कार्रवाई होगी उससे हम आपको अवगत कराएंगे।
Earlier, the Sports Ministry had ordered a probe into the case. It also directed SAI Director General to rush to Kerala for an on-the-spot assessment. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, 3 women athletes who survived the suicide attempt are reported to be in a stable condition today. Sports Authority of India Director General Injeti Srinivas visited the athletes yesterday in a short treatment. Sports Ministry has constituted a medical board to investigate the incident. Relatives of the athletes allege that the girls were being physically and mentally tortured by the trainer.
We hope that they will get well soon and the medical, all the doctors are there. They are attending them properly.
It's a sigh of relief for actor Salman Khan, at least for now. The Bombay High Court today suspended his 5-year sentence in the 2002 hit-and-run case. His bail extends till his appeal against conviction is heard, scheduled for July.
Scenes outside Salman Khan's home in Bandra in Mumbai as news came in of a longer-term breather from the High Court after the 2-day interim bail. The actor himself, who didn't have to appear in court this time, soon emerged, headed to the trial court where he was asked to surrender and furnish a fresh bail bond. He'd got interim bail on the grounds that he didn't get a detailed order explaining reasons for the conviction.
उनका अपील एडमिट किया गया है और उनको जमानत दी गई है 30,000 रुपीस की और सुनवाई जो है वो जुलाई में अंतिम सुनवाई होगी.
The defense had argued that 4 people were present in Salman's SUV at the time of the accident in 2002. It proposed that singer Kamal Khan, who was with Salman at the time of the accident, be brought back from abroad to depose.
The High Court has powers also to ask the session judge to ask Kamal Khan to depose, because till the time Kamal Khan's deposition is not taken, it will be very difficult to prove that whether there were 4 people in the vehicle, whether Salman Khan was driving the vehicle or it was Ashok Singh.
On Friday, Khan's lawyers reportedly also cited the actor's humanitarian work and an apparent neurological condition as grounds for suspension of the sentence. The appeal will be heard in July and the actor will need special court permission to travel abroad in the interim. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And to help us understand this, we're joined by Vikas Singh, former Additional Solicitor General of India. Sir, if you can just very quickly tell us, as far as the suspension of the sentence is concerned, what really transpired in the court today as far as this case is concerned?
Well, I can't tell you what transpired in court because I wasn't there. But as far as the normal rule of suspension of sentence is concerned, I feel that this is not normally how a sentence is to be suspended, because under the CRPC, Section 389 provides that wherever an appeal court decides to suspend a sentence, the appeal court has to record good reasons for doing so. Now, the normal rule in this country has been that whenever you are convicted and if you go for an appeal, then the suspension of sentence does not take place at least up till you have served at least half the term of whatever is the conviction. That is the rule which the higher judiciary has been following of late. But if this is a new trend in the judicial dispensation which has been done in the Salman Khan case, I think it will be very good for the general people of this country, for the poor of this country who can't afford to engage the top legal brains to argue for them. that you should have the convictions should take effect only after the final court, that is the Supreme Court, decides the matter. What will happen is that you will have very few people in jails then. And secondly, you can't justify an under trial being in jail. Especially after the charge sheet. I can understand being in jail at the time when the investigation is being done, but you can't justify an under trial being in jail. So all under trials should be immediately released, and all people facing conviction whose appeals are pending should also be released, because that's how you can ensure that you are being consistent as far as the judicial dispensation is concerned, and you are not also making any difference between a poor and a rich man, a powerful and a weak man. You should ensure that every person gets the same kind of justice which Salman Khan got today. So that, I feel, would be the correct way of looking at this.
All right, it might be rather ironic what you're saying, given the fact that the huge number of under trials in this country, and a kind of a special treatment, as many in the media are also suggesting, that has been awarded to Salman Khan as far as this case is concerned. The fact that the bail itself was granted rather immediately, and now the suspension of the sentence. So as far as justice itself is concerned, while you might see a silver lining, but there are question marks that are being raised in the media.
Well, you will be actually surprised to know that amongst the under trials who are languishing in jails, there are a large number of them who have actually continued in jail even beyond the sentence for which they have been charged. So for instance, you are charged for a maximum sentence of 2 years, and you are languishing in jail for 3 years or 4 years. So that's the state of affairs, and that's all being done by the judiciary, because it's only every detention has to be approved by some magistrate or a court or in a judicial proceeding. So where you have in a country where people are languishing even beyond the period for which you are charged with and not convicted, mind you. Here was a case where a conviction had taken place after examining all the evidences, after examining all the witnesses in the matter, and the judge taking a view that Salman Khan at the last minute tried to introduce a new driver who had not been mentioned ever earlier. In fact, it was quite a joke on the social media that Salman had been taking the blame which his driver had committed for all these 12 years, and he had, he's such a great human being. So that is what is, a little disturbing. That it's the judiciary which is ensuring that these other trials remain in jail, the judiciary which keeps people with, lesser offences in jail after conviction, and here a person is convicted with 5 years of imprisonment, and without, I can understand that the judiciary had felt that no, this case did not merit any conviction at all, and for that reason, if they had supposing suspended the sentence, it would have been consistent with the CRPC provision, but that has not happened, and that could not have happened in a 1 hour or 2 hour hearing, which whatever may have taken place today, because to take that kind of a view, you have to look into the evidence in much greater detail, and so this has obviously not happened in this case, and that is what the Supreme Court says, that suspension of sentence has to be done for reasons, and reasons cannot be the fact that his appeal is pending. That per se, or that solitary reason cannot be the basis for suspending somebody's sentence. So that's where I feel that I hope the judiciary follows this consistently with the other under trials and other convicts in this country.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll have to wrap it up, Mr. Vikas Singh. Thank you very much for coming in and helping us understand and put this into perspective for us, this judgment as far as Salman Khan is concerned. Now we'll take a very quick break, but coming up on the other side, a fresh tremor is felt in Nepal today, even as the death toll has neared 8,000.
A surprise election result. The Tories retain power in UK. How did it happen? What role did the Indian vote play? Watch the big picture. 6:30 on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, after 3 consecutive days of a slump at the market, there's been a bounce back today. In fact, the Sensex jumped over 500 points after dropping to a 4-month low. It regained the 27,000 mark by ending with a gain of 506 points. The Nifty also regained the 8,200 mark today during intraday trade. However, it ended with a rise of 134 points. The rupee also saw some recovery after hitting a 20-month low on Thursday. It had breached the 64 mark against the dollar in yesterday's trade. And let's get you up to date on all the other national news and updates in nationwide. Hyderabad court is expected to pronounce its order on appeals filed by Satyam Computers founder Ramalinga Raju and 9 others. The appeals were filed on Monday seeking suspension of their sentences and the fines imposed on them in the multi-crore accounting fraud. All the convicts are currently lodged in the Cherapalli Central Prison. West Bengal CID have arrested 2 main accused in the gang rape of the 70-year-old nun on March 14 this year. The CID nabbed a main accused, Milon Sarkar, along with his accomplice, Wahidur Babu, from Sialda station in Kolkata on Thursday night. A massive fire broke out in the area of Jalpaiguri in a market over there on Thursday night, gutting down at least 150 shops. More than 13 fire tenders rushed to douse the fire. No casualty, however, has been reported in the incident, and the cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained. Some international news now, and British Prime Minister David Cameron's Conservatives are on track to rule for another term. That too without the need for a coalition or the formal support of other parties. As results for UK polls started trickling in, it became clear that Conservatives are on course for an overall majority to govern alone for the first time since 1992. Labour Party's leader Ed Miliband conceded defeat and is likely to step down.
Contrary to the prediction of a hung parliament, Conservatives have emerged as the single largest party in UK polls. Led by incumbent Prime Minister David Cameron, the party secured an overall majority on Friday, a first for Conservatives since 1992. Cameron met with Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace, a formal step towards forming a government. He is then expected to give a statement from 10 Downing Street.
This election campaign was always about the difficult decisions we had to take over the last 5 years, the foundation of a stronger economy that we've built for our country, and the chance now to build on that foundation and to say to people that if you want a job, if you want that apprenticeship, if you want a home that you can own of your own, if you want security and dignity in retirement, we are on your side and want to deliver for you.
However, it was bitter disappointment for Ed Miliband's Labour Party. It did not gain seats in the places it badly needed to and was hammered in Scotland by the pro-independence SNP, with Nicola Sturgeon's party seizing 56 of the nation's 59 seats. Miliband accepted defeat and is expected to step down. Liberal Democrats leader Nick Clegg has already quit.
But this has clearly been a very disappointing and difficult night for the Labour Party. We haven't made the gains we wanted in England and Wales, and in Scotland we've seen a surge of nationalism overwhelm our party. Now I want to say to all the dedicated and decent colleagues in Scotland who have lost their seats that I'm deeply sorry for what has happened.
That this has been a cruel and punishing night for the Liberal Democrats. The election has profound implications for the country. It also obviously has profound implications for the Liberal Democrats.
Cameron's victory also means Britain will face a vote which he has promised on continued membership in the European Union. Cameron has promised to try to renegotiate terms of Britain's membership in the 28-nation European bloc and to hold a referendum by the end of 2017 on whether Britain should remain in the EU or not. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And our correspondent Smita Nair is in London to get us the latest update from there. Smita, despite all expectations from the poll pundits, the Conservatives are back in the seat of power. So what's the mood across the UK? Did the people expect this?
Well, Ishar, it is an unexpected result. It is nothing short of historic. The Tories already have 327 seats. They expect to win 329. With 323 being the majority, they are way past that. So it's basically a thumbs up for David Cameron's economic agenda and his stand on EU. Remember that he had promised before the polls that he would hold another referendum, he would hold a vote on whether UK should be part of EU or quit the European Union. So this is a thumbs up for his policies, and it's also the worst result ever for Labour since 1987. They have won only 232 seats so far. It is a very disappointing result, and Ed Miliband has already quit. And I think it's the worst, but the worst among all the parties are the Liberal Democrats. They were in the coalition government with David Cameron, and they have lost very badly. They are fourth in line, and in fact 3 former cabinet ministers from Nick Clegg's party have lost their seats. So I think the worst off are the Liberal Democrats, so by far. In fact, and also the UK Independence Party, which was hoping to make some gains, has won only 1 seat so far, and I don't think they will win another. So the mood is outstandingly in favor of David Cameron, and I think it is an outstanding result for him, nothing less short of historic.
Absolutely. David Cameron's economic policies perhaps are taking him through over there despite popular expectations. Smita Nair, thank you very much for that update all the way from London. Well, we'll take move on to the other story now, that about a rather sad story in Afghanistan and Pakistan. The ambassador to the Philippines and Norway were killed along with 4 others when a helicopter carrying 11 foreigners crashed in Pakistan's Gilgit-Baltistan region. 2 more envoys from Poland and Holland have been injured in the crash. The helicopter crashed at a school building in the Naltal Valley when the diplomats were on their way to attend a ceremony where Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was scheduled to speak. Pakistan's Taliban has claimed responsibility for the attack, saying it shot down the chopper. On to Nepal, and it's been close to 2 weeks now since the earthquake that changed lives forever. Reconstruction and rebuilding have assumed focus, even alongside mourning the dead. Aftershocks that persist in many areas remind of an uncertainty that people say has to be accepted now as part of life.
Another Kathmandu morning, another bout of a devastated stillness that the locals, many now living in tents, are almost used to. The odd pickup truck clearing the debris is all that seems to break the ennui. Almost every other night, small tremors rock parts of the city. 2 were felt on Thursday night. Recovery is slow yet.
Now also I'm feeling afraid because small earthquakes are coming, and I think it will also damage other things.
In places like Bhaktapur, once a tourism hub, the process of picking up the pieces, talk of repair and reconstruction, has taken off, riddled with frustration and despair.
It's a very economic crisis is coming. That's a problem why many people's difficult to build here.
It's a time for the spirited innovator to move in. As volunteers or as entrepreneurs, groups are moving into remote villages with ideas of using banners and sticks to make temporary shelters. They highlight the fact that aid supplies have been slow to move into these parts.
So tent is very expensive in Nepal, so we don't get it in market. So I am thinking alternate about tents, so some flex in my compound. So I was just thinking, of course I can make it tent by flex, so it's quite easy for survive. It's really important.
Numbers of helicopters landing in remote parts have picked up over the last few days, but reaching them all is a challenge yet. Food, hygiene kits, shelter material, it's a virtual start from scratch in many places. 2 weeks on, it's still a slow beginning. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, that's all from us. Goodbye.